What's up, people? Brewing Daddy here. We're going to be doing a new supplier's recipe. The first time we've done one of theirs. It's a 5-gallon recipe, and it's Adventures in Home Brewing. We're going to be doing one of theirs. It's their wheat recipe, and let's see what all it's got. So we got a package of hops. We got a, doesn't say what size, 4 HBU hop pallet pack. It looks like alpha. So we got that. And we got our yeast packet, Safe Ale WB06. And we got our, we do have some grains with this one, but our bag for the grains. We have a pretty good sized bag of flaked wheat and rolled oats. I have never brewed with rolled oats before, so this is going to be interesting. We do have 2 containers of liquid malt extract. This is a 5-pound one. And then we got another one that is 1 pound. So 6 pounds of liquid malt extract. And we have our instructions. So pretty simple brew. I've already read over the instructions. Doesn't look like it's overly complicated. We steep the grains. I want to say it was for 20 minutes. The hops go in at the beginning of the boil. And of course all of our extract goes in at the beginning of the boil. So there's not all kinds of additions. We steep, and then we put everything in and we boil it for 60 minutes. And then we cool it off, transfer it to the fermenter, aerate it, and our yeast goes in. Really simple. So looking forward to doing this one. I like wheat beer, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one turns out. All right, so we got our burner on. We've already put in about 2.5 gallons. This recipe actually calls for 2.5 gallons to start with, and then at the end of your boil, when you've cooled everything down, add another 3¼ gallons to make it 5¼ total. No, not even 3, 2¾ So it calls for a total of 5¼ gallons when you're fermenting, but it instructs you to use 2.5 gallons for boiling. Unfortunately, 2.5 gallons is not high enough to hit my thermometer, so I'm going to actually put in the full 3 gallons. So let me put the rest of this in. Hopefully that's high enough. Unfortunately, you can't see into the top of my pot because it's so high up, but that is submerging the thermometer so we can get a good reading off of it. So we're going to heat this up. So we got our water in. We're going to heat it up to 150 degrees, and then we're going to put our steeping grains in for, I believe it's 20 minutes, and then we'll add everything else in. To make things easier, I have got a pot of hot water. I normally do this with the liquid malt extract. I got both of these soaking in that to heat it up, just to make it easier to pour out. And I am going to use my hop spider. It's not going to be able to reach down far enough, I believe. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it down inside, and because I want this brew to come out clear. It's actually their summer wheat special is what they call it. So this is the summer wheat special recipe, and while we're brewing a summer wheat, we're drinking a wheat as well. So unfortunately, this is a production beer, but not one of my home brews. But we're going to get the water up to 150, then we'll get our grains in, and then we'll be rolling from there. So we got our water up to about 152, 153 degrees. It's time to get our grains steeping, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Our grain bag here, and we're going to get it in our steeping bag. Easiest way to do this is just put the bag over the bag and just flip it over. This is a really big bag. I'm just going to drop it down in the pot. You always want to tie these, but I'm going to drop it down in the pot, and I might actually have enough to tie to the handle actually, because it's that long. So let's get it down in there. And we'll just soak it good. I think we'll have enough we can tie it onto the handle here. Yep. All right, so I'll start our timer for 20 minutes, and after 20 minutes we'll pull that out. All right, so we'll start our timer now for 20 minutes, and we'll let that steep for 20 minutes, and we'll get it out of there, and then we'll be starting with our getting our malt extracts in and our hops in. We'll see you in 20 minutes. All right, 20 minutes has passed, and it's time to get our grains out of here. So we're just going to lift them up and let them drain. We'll just use our lid to put them on so we don't have grain water everywhere. They tell you not to squeeze it, so don't squeeze it. Just let it drain. I think that's good enough for us. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and put in our liquid malt extract. I'm going to go ahead and get that in there. It's good that I put that in warm water, because it would not come out so good. And looks like we got a lot of it out. And now the big one. Well, I can tell you for some certainty that Ventures in Home Brewing seals their liquid malt very well. Hardest time I ever had getting one open. I'd rather it be that way than come open on me inside the box. So I'm not going to complain. And this one's going to take a while. This is like watching paint dry, sorry. All right, that's good enough. We got most of it, and that's all that counts. All right, so we're gonna bring this up to a boil now, and we're gonna stir all this in really good. Crazy, I can't even see inside the pot. I may have to rethink my brewing setup, at least for 5 gallons. It works great for 1 gallon, but 5, I don't think I'm gonna like this too much. All right, so I'm just gonna leave the spoon in because I'm gonna stir it some more. But we're gonna get our hops in, our hop spider, and be done with this. All right, and I'm just gonna set this down inside. And actually, Now with the syrup in it, or the malt extract in it, might as well be syrup. I'm pretty sure that is probably reaching now, and this is submerged, so I'll double check it to make sure. But we're gonna bring this to a boil, and then 60 minutes of boiling, that's a long time. So we'll see, once it gets up to a boil, we'll be back with you. Okay, it looks like our boil has just started, so we're gonna start our timer. We got 60 minutes to go. So we'll just keep stirring it the next 60 minutes. It didn't take too long for it to come up to temperature, maybe 15-20 minutes, but it is there and it is boiling. So we'll dial the heat back a little bit just to keep it on a rolling boil. Got 60 minutes and we'll be back, and then we'll start cooling it down with our wort chiller. All right, we'll see you in an hour. All right, that is the 60-minute mark. So we finally made it to there. I'm gonna pull out our hop spider carefully. That did its job. Get all the hops down in it. Good deal there. I got to get our ice bucket and our bucket full of ice water ready, and set up our pump and our coil and all. So I'll do that now. I'm gonna have to upgrade this pump. It's adequate, but it's not really fast enough. It should be a lot faster than what I have going on here. But it does a pretty good job actually, even though it is slow. But the water's really cold going in, you can feel it. And it's pretty hot coming out, so it's definitely taking the heat off. So it looks like our temp's already down to 180, and we were at 212 or so at boiling. So it's coming down. The ice is actually about melted. I might have to put some more ice in here. The water's still super cold. So we'll get some more ice in it, and we'll keep running this until we get it down well below 100 degrees, close to 80 as possible. So we'll be back with you once we get it cooled off, okay? All right, so we finally got our wort down to about 80 degrees. It took us some time. I think we're gonna have to get a bigger pump for our wort chiller, but it did do the job. We had to use a lot of ice, and I'm about to break all this down, and we're going to transfer our wort into our fermenter. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I'm about to do it. I don't have a hose for this mega pot, so for the nipple, what I would recommend is using a hose and putting a sanitized hose at that and putting it down inside the fermenter. I got my fermenter sitting right below my spout here, and I'm gonna it's gonna be pouring into the top of the fermenter. It's great to aerate it, but I don't know about the exposure to the air, how great it's gonna be as far as getting bacteria in the wort, but I don't have a hose that size, so I'm gonna have to make do. Otherwise I'd have to pour it, and I really don't wanna pour it because it's pretty heavy. So I'm going to take all this apart and get ready to transfer everything over. So I just want to make sure that what's going to come out is going to be clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the fermenter out of the way. And I'm going to open our valve just to see how it looks. And it doesn't really look bad actually. It doesn't look bad at all. It actually looks really, really clean. So I'm gonna have to, once this is drained, I'm gonna have to top it off with some water to take it to 5 1/8 of a gallon. That's what the recipe recommends. Like I said, this is not ideal to be draining it this way. It is the grand finale, so we finally got everything transferred, and we are going to add water now as the recipe instructs us. We're going to have to add a good bit of water here. We had a lot of boil down, or a lot of evaporation. So right now we're a little over 3 gallons. I'm going to end up having to put all of this in here. We're a little bit over. Now, I wouldn't say we're quite 5 1/8, but we're a hair over. I'm going to have to get another jug, and we're going to have to put in a little bit more. But if you can see it, and maybe I'm wrong. I think we are pretty close actually. I might just leave it, or the mark's there, and we're here. That's about 1/8. So we'll leave it right where it's at. So we're gonna put our yeast in. Go ahead and get that out of the way. And I hate to say it, but I think we aerated this thing really good. But let's put our airlock on, our lid. I'll shake it around a little bit, but I'm not going to shake it too much. And to do this, you're just going to want to like tilt it like yay, and just kind of rock it back and forth. And actually, I probably should have aerated it before I put the yeast in, but it's okay. I mean, it'll mix the yeast in. It's really, to be honest with you, I don't think I really need to aerate this, because as you can see, it's already got tons of foam. The way I transferred it, it introduced all kinds of air. So I'm just going to shake it up just a little bit, but not as much as I normally would. I normally would do this for like 5 minutes, but seeing that the way I transferred it and the adding of the water, I added like 3 gallons of water there, so don't really need to aerate it. There's a lot of air in there. You can see the bubbles everywhere. So, all right, we're good to go. We're done with this bad boy. Another 5 gallon batch of Ventures in Home Brewing Summer Wheat Special. It's a special summer wheat. So we'll come back. This thing's gonna have to ferment for a while. Where the instructions call for 2 weeks in this primary fermenter, and then another 2 weeks in a secondary. I'm not gonna transfer it into a secondary. I'm kegging this, so what I'm gonna do is just leave it 4 weeks in here and let it finish its thing. I may do 3 to 4. Actually, instructions say 1 to 2 weeks for both fermenters, but so I'm thinking minimum 3 weeks, but I may go 4, just to see where, just to make sure that we're fully fermented. And I'll transfer this into a keg, and we'll force carbonate it in the keg. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Appreciate you staying with us to the end. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate y'all. And you'll also be entered automatically if you subscribe to our monthly giveaway. We've been giving away hats. We'll give away some other stuff here soon. Hats are about to run out, so we're going to have to give away something different. But maybe we'll give away some 1 gallon more beer.com recipes. That's our new sponsor. Good time to talk about them, morebeer.com. There's a link in the description. We link you to similar beers. This is not their recipe, of course, but they do have a very similar recipe to this. There'll be a link in the description to it. And we will be trying their recipes out. We just got a backlog of old recipes from Adventures in Home Brewing, from Northern Brewer. Still got a few, so trying to get them all out of the way, and then we'll start brewing some more beer.com recipes. But check out brewingdaddy.com. Check out our Twitter. It's at Brewing Daddy, and also on Facebook, we're Brewing Daddy there as well. We appreciate y'all. Peace out, people. Take care.